Hello, my name is Ivan Sidocic. I am a student at the Faculty of Organization and Informatics here in Varaždin, first year. And today I will be talking about the process of applying for a job. In this topic, I will be talking about the situations you can find yourself in while applying for a job and the documents that are needed for applying for a job. So the situations that you can find yourself in is either A, you can find a job advertising a vacancy available, or a job that isn't advertising a vacancy which you can apply for. So in the first scenario, you usually apply for the open vacancy, by submitting your CV or resume accompanied by your covering letter. Also, if the company asks, you will have to fill out a company form, usually for your details, maybe some work experience, etc. Whilst in the other scenario, you just submit your CV, resume, accompanied by a covering letter, asking them if they have an open job position. After that, you will either be shortlisted and informed of an interview, or you will be rejected. So, about the documents that you needed. Usually in Europe, you need a CV or curriculum vitae, which is the same as a resume, usually in the US, which is like a worker brochure, which usually informs the company about your working experiences, education, maybe some key achievements that you achieved, uh, work outside of work, doesn't matter. Whilst your covering letter usually explains why you are writing and what was your motivation behind you applying for this job. So the covering letter usually consists of several sections, which are divided. I divided them into seven. The first section, like the first part, is the address from which you are writing from and the date. The second section is the name of the individual that you have to send your application to, which is usually a human resources or a secretary, which you have to add their name, their position, and the name of the company that you're applying for, and their address. After that, in your covering letter, you would usually start with a greeting and the name of the position that you are applying for and where you have seen it. For example, if you have seen a pamphlet outside, if you have seen it in a magazine, maybe it's an online ad, usually that would be your first thing you write. Then after that, you would usually write where, if you are currently working, where you are currently working, and what your job responsibilities are. Maybe you're a manager, maybe you're an assistant manager, maybe you're a programmer, maybe you're a human resources worker, etc. If you're not working, you can write where you have previously worked. So maybe I have worked for 2 years in an IT company where I was a programmer in C++ and maybe Python, and because maybe that's what the company that you're applying for is asking. That's also one key thing that you should write is usually the job advertisements have requirements that you have to fulfill, and it's actually needed for you to write them in your covering letter to actually make the company acknowledge that you are qualified for the job. At the end, you usually write that where the CV is located. Maybe it's in a Word document, maybe it's an online CV, or maybe it's added on to your covering letter inside. Maybe. At the end, you should keep it very simple, maybe few maybe key comments and a formal greeting of goodbye. And you should probably write also when you're available for the interviews in your goodbye. So, for example, I hope to hear from you again. I am available every day in the afternoon. That would be a great thing to write. Also, your signature at the bottom to know who is writing. Next is your CV. In your CV, you usually write something that's to you. Maybe you're a hardworking individual who doesn't believe in excuses, who is devoted to the company, who won't give up at the first hurdle. Maybe something that which it can motivate the company to look at you more detailed. Next up, you should write your key achievements if you have a longer work experience. But if you are a new graduate or anything, you can put your education pre-hand. So, for example, if you're a longer worker, you can say you can put like 2 years in IT, etc., etc. But if you're a graduate, you should put like I graduated from this and this academy uh, a couple of days ago, etc., etc. Also, key achievements are also very important. So, for example, you can type in the date where you contributed into a multi-million dollar contract, where you completed a program that is worth a lot of money. You can also type in your qualifications. So, for example, if you're a true leader, if you're a great leader, if you're devoted, and also some non-working achievements. So, for example, if you do voluntary work, or for example, if you lead a group of people in on tours. Let's say if you give time in the soup kitchen, you help the poor, you clean the streets, you apply for a lot of voluntary work. That could also be included in your CV. So that would be for me. That's all that we have been taught. So I hope I helped you.